owned the property there where the Shasta Springs Resort was, where these guys stayed. The Shasta Springs Resort was where the rich went to go and have a vacation, and there they would drink the sparkling water from the mountain. They would be there hobnobbing with the rich and famous. It was in that area where this waterworks was created. The water was ultimately piped into the city of Dunsmuir. What makes this interesting there is that I met the descendant, Van Fossen, and I was at his house. He has a house in Dunsmuir. He was hiking with his daughter on that property. Now, the property is owned religious group, we'll say, or a New Age group. He wasn't supposed to be on the property, but what happened was when he came near this rock basalt foundation, it looks like out of Indiana Jones novel. And when he came near it, a man came out of nowhere dressed in a white robe, over 7 feet tall, who spoke in a British accent, who said to him, "You have now found the back entrance to Tello. Would you like to come in?" Well, him and his daughter were scared beyond belief. "Thank you, but no thank you." So as they walk away, the guy mysteriously just disappeared out of nowhere. So he thought so much of this story, put it up on his website, and he came up from San Francisco to meet with me, just to tell me this story in his living room.
What year was that?
This happened to him, I believe, in 2008.
Recent.
Right, yes. I found this rock formation that he's talking about, so I know exactly where it is. This was just interesting. So I'm up in the area at the time, and they do a write-up on me in Mount Shasta Herald newspaper. It was a weekend, I think 2009, 4th of July weekend. So I'm in this big write-up, a whole-page write-up, and I was very appreciative of the whole-page write-up, why I was in the area. So I was lecturing at the college of the Siskiyous there in Weed, and I was doing a local TV show called Legends of Mystery and More at the time. I finished up my filming in September, and I decided I was going to produce a show for someone up in Oregon. I get a phone call from my friend who had a show on that channel as well. He goes, "Dude, you're famous, the California Grape Nuts and Granola." "Famous? What are you talking about?" He goes, "The U.S. Forest Service and the FBI were just here. They want to question you." I said, "Question me? What do they want to question me about?" He said, "They claim that you dug a hole on Mount Shasta that was 60 feet deep and 15 feet wide during the 4th of July weekend." I said, "Well, no, I didn't dig it. I was in town at the time. I don't have digging equipment. I don't have a crane and all that stuff." So he goes, "Well, they're looking to talk to you about it." I says, "Well, give them my phone number. I'm more than happy to help them." So I get a phone call the other day, and a fellow is researching this for his movie, and he's got 11 minutes to film the movie. He says, "I want to ask you about that. Did you dig the hole? Did you see the Art Bell piece with Mel's hole?" And I told him about it. I said, "There was a hole that went 15,000 feet in this property, and the government confiscated property, and next thing you know, his life went living hell." I said, "No, I didn't dig the hole. I'm not going to admit to something I didn't dig." I said, "But I will tell you that was all created because I was in town causing a big hoopla about an ancient civilization. So somebody went to the expense of digging this big hole on the back end of the mountain, and they wanted to pin it on Stephen Sindoni." So I cracked up. So that was kind of interesting that I'll be doing that movie with someone actually calling me back and saying, "I did all this research, and your explanation of this, it really fits." 2 years later, in 2011, I come back out with a film crew to Mount Shasta, and I hadn't met the film crew yet. I contracted the film crew, and I told them, show up at the Cave Springs Motel. So everybody's coming from all over California to work on my project. So I get to the Cave Springs Motel about 3 o'clock in the morning.